Hello, everybody. In today's video, we're going to be covering the best practices when it comes to copy creation. As is customary, we'll start with the definition of copy as far as I'm concerned. When I say copy, I'm specifically talking about the writing or words visible on your ad, both the body and the headline, and I'll show you what both of those look like here momentarily. The copy describes your offer, like we covered in the previous video, in an enticing way. That's really what its main job is to do. So the copy, along with the offer itself and the video/image, so the creative, those three form the holy trinity of a Facebook and Instagram ad, essentially. All are very important, and just getting one of these three wrong can derail the performance of the campaign. However, if I had to rank the importance of these three categories, I would say that copy is less important than the offer or the creative, but it's still very important and it's easy to mess up. If you've ever spent any time analyzing a Facebook or Instagram ad, you've probably seen some with extremely long copy. It's like they're writing an essay out here. And then conversely, you might have come across an ad with very, very sparse copy, perhaps just a few sentences. So which one performs better? Well, when it comes to deciding between long or short, the answer is it depends. So you should test both variations and see which one works best for you, as is the case with everything with media buying if you haven't picked up on that theme by now. As far as the history of elite scale digital is concerned, when we first started off, our copy tended to be longer, and as time has gone on, it's gotten shorter and shorter. It may just be that we're subconsciously correlating it to the reduction in attention spans, but despite that, I still definitely encourage you to experiment with various copy lengths until you find a winning combination. So now let's break down the anatomy of good copy. And for that, I'm going to be bringing in the copy that's included in the MedSpa Proven Offers pack and go over all of the components within it. So this is one of the copy variations that we provided you for our proven offer for body contouring, which we call the Slim and Trim Body Contouring Trio. I've also included one of the headline variations as well. So to harken back to our definition here, body and headline, this is really what I'm talking about when I say the body. So basically just everything that is visible above the creative itself. So I'll show you examples in the Facebook ads library so you can see some real world examples in real time, right? So this would be the body of the copy. This is just a random ad that's running right now. And then down here where it says double chin rescue for only $1.99, that would be the headline. So I'll kind of go line by line here and explain the reasoning behind the choices we made with this copy. The first thing I want to point out is the call out, where it says, hey, city. So in this case, I'll just fill this out as we go. Let's just say that your med spa is in Los Angeles. Hey, Los Angeles. So we always start our copy with a call out of the city or region that we're advertising in. Now you may be wondering why that's necessary, because when you set up Facebook and Instagram ads, you can choose the radius, you can choose the exact address or zip code that you want to be targeting. But Facebook's algorithm isn't perfect. And a lot of people may be traveling to a particular area, but they don't actually live there, and they still may be served your ads. So the objective of the call out at the beginning of the copy is to essentially force people who aren't really in that area to continue to scroll past because they know it doesn't apply to them. The last thing that you want are people from outside of your local area who will never become customers of yours to opt in and become a lead from one of your ads. That's just a waste of time. The next part of the copy that I really want to focus on is just this part right here that I've highlighted. I refer to this as the meat and potatoes of the offer. And the reason why I call it that is this is what's visible above the fold. If your copy is longer than 2 or 3 lines, when you see it on your feed, the rest of the copy is going to be hidden behind a see more button, meaning you actually have to perform an action to see the rest. But this part up here, the first couple lines, that's going to be visible no matter what, without you having to click anything. Here's a real world example of what I'm talking about. This is actually one of our ads that's currently running right now. And as you can see, only the first 3 lines are visible. So you get the call out and then you get just a handful of characters here that everyone's gonna see. Everything else, you have to click that see more button that I mentioned, and then the rest of the copy is revealed. So can you see why this beginning part right here is most important? Everyone's gonna see that no matter what. So what I like to do is stuff as much detail about the offer itself, exactly what's included in those first couple lines, so everybody can have a comprehensive understanding of what this offer actually is. So you can see here, in this case, we have experience our Slim and Trim Body Contouring Trio. So that is our catchy name. It says that it's body contouring, and it describes the value and why you should be interested in this. It's 3 powerful fat dissolving treatments in one just for whatever the price may be, right? Let's just say it's $147. And then you can also put the value here. So if it's normally $300 for that first session, now people can see, wow, okay, that's actually a really good deal. So we have the name, we have what the treatment actually is, we have the main benefit, fat dissolving, and we have the price and perceived value, all without having to click that see more button. So everything beyond that is really gravy, because the vast majority of people aren't going to read beyond these couple lines. So that's why this part is most important. I'm going to bold it. However, that doesn't mean that you should stop there, because a certain percentage of people will read through all of this, and only then will they actually take that next step of clicking book now. So what I like to do next is really enumerate exactly what is included in more detail in the service. So up here, it says that it's 3-in-1, but what does that even mean? In our experience for the Slim and Trim Body Contouring Trio, this is the best performing 3 services that I've ever seen. So if you have the devices that can fulfill on this, you can copy this exactly as you're seeing it here, and it's going to do great. So in the best case scenario, you could do something like ultrasonic cavitation, a red light treatment, right? And a radio frequency treatment. So if you have a device that can do all 3 of those, or you have multiple devices that can do that, this is gonna absolutely crush it. But it doesn't have to be this in depth. Let's say you only have a device that does ultrasonic cavitation. Well, this can be a lymphatic drainage massage, which a lot of people do anyway. So it's not adding any additional expense to fulfill on one of these appointments. This could be a lipo B12 shot, right? That burns fat. As long as you're packing in perceived value and you really are giving them a 3-in-1 experience, there's no reason that you can't title it the Slim and Trim Body Contouring Trio, which again, really packs in a lot of perceived value. At this point here, not only do I like to actually list out what the treatments are gonna be, but also the main benefit of each one, like to liquefy fat cells, lymphatic drainage to remove toxins, right? I'm not actually, I would, capitalize this better if I were really doing it. To remove toxins, right? Lipo B12 shot to burn fat right away, whatever, right? You can, you're the expert practitioner here. You can figure out exactly how best to describe the various services you're including. So this part we can say more details about treatments as what that section is. And then the next part that I like to include is incorporating some of the benefits of the general service that they're coming in for, right? So in this case, body contouring. So I would say here that this is a list of benefits. So why choose body contouring here? Just some of the benefits, right? That's super straightforward. Sculpt your physique, eliminate fat, reduce cellulite, tighten skin, no pain or downtime, no surgery required, right? These are all really amazing features of body contouring. Not only does this describe a lot of the benefits, but it also addresses some common concerns or questions. Is there any downtime? Next up, I include the location and the name of the business. Welcome to XYZ Med Spa, conveniently located at your business address. And then at the end, I like to inject a little bit of scarcity. Spots are filling up fast, so click book now to snag your introductory rate today. Now again, this is one of the most proven offers that we've run for many clients, so you can take this copy as is and it should get good results, but you don't have to use it word for word, right? Feel free to put your own spin on this. Take the skeleton or the format, right, that I'm describing and make it your own if you'd like. Make it better. Make it unique to you. Maybe you want to pump up the scarcity even more. Sometimes instead of saying just spots are filling up fast, I actually list out like only 15 spots available this month. And then as far as the headline is concerned, you have a very limited amount of characters before it gets cut off. So I try to make this super straight and to the point. What is the offer? How much is it? 3-in-1 body contouring treatment. Very general, but that's what it is. If you don't read anything else, you see the headline, you know what this is an ad for. Only, again, we said $147, and it's usually $300, right? $300 value. Wow. How amazing. And then as far as just some more best practices for copy, you can see that I do use emojis, but use emojis sparingly, right? Less is more. This is probably the maximum amount that I would sprinkle throughout. You don't want to go overboard with the emojis or it just looks cartoonish and unserious and like you're not a real business owner. But you do want to have a few because otherwise it just looks like a big block of text. And then one more thing to keep in mind is once you find a winning piece of ad copy, utilize that same format for your other services. These can all be repurposed. As long as you hit the big points like I've explained here, there's no reason that you can't take this and apply it to a face rejuvenation offer, a Botox offer, a hair restoration offer, you name it. So now we're back in the Facebook ads library just to look at some real world examples of what people are running right now. And so going back to the emojis for a second, like look at this example, right? It's just kind of a big block of text. Yeah, they have a couple emojis down here, but it's just like, I don't even feel like reading all of that. But now if you look at this one up here, we got, the call out, which is great. They paid attention to the spacing, so it's broken up and they sprinkle emojis in here. It's easier on the eyes. It's easier to read as opposed to this where where I feel like I'm doing homework a little bit. So keep that in mind when you're writing this copy out and when you're actually placing it in the Facebook Ads Manager, which I'll show you how to do here in a subsequent video. So now you should have a better understanding of what goes into making winning ad copy on Facebook and Instagram. And when you combine powerful copy with great creatives and a super strong introductory offer, it can literally be an absolute game changer for your business. See you guys on the next one.